Hello, welcome to Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week we take an in-depth look at what's happening to the real estate market here in the Villages. We take a look at real estate generally, but on this channel we focus on the Villages, and if you watch this channel, you'll have a good idea as to the price differences between the different regions of the Villages, what types of homes are available, and what the long-term price trends are here. You can form your own opinion as to where prices go from here, but at least you'll be informed as to what they have been doing. Two things to note. First, we produce this show every week. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. Secondly, all of this information is drawn from the multiple listing service, the MLS. We do not include information from the village's own internal listing service, the VLS, which is also the only marketplace where you will find new homes in the villages listed for sale. The VLS currently has slightly more listings than the MLS, but whichever listing service has more listings, if you're a buyer, you need to see properties on both marketplaces or you will not be able to see everything for sale. If you're a buyer and you're trying to get a good deal here, or you're a seller and you're trying to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or through our website, DavidisinFlorida.com. I'll be happy to help you. I'll be happy to advise you or research for you or answer questions about life in the villages generally. Also, if you find this information valuable, please consider liking or subscribing to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. So with that out of the way, let's take a look now at what's happening this week. We usually start every week by taking a look at the interest rate market, but for those who don't know where the villages are, we've decided to switch things up and we'll give you an orientation as to where the villages is in Florida exactly. The map that you're looking at is all active listings on the MLS. The size of the dot represents the size of the property and the color of the dot represents its price. We're zooming in here on the villages and we're zooming in specifically on the Lake Sumter area. As we've zoomed in, we've been looking exclusively at listings, but to give you an idea as to how we can use this tool, this map is showing you all homes that went pending in the villages over the last 60 days. I've added two more maps to show you price reductions. We'll get to that in a little bit, but for now, let's take a look at the interest rate market. This is the yield on the US 10-year note. The yield on the 10-year note is the yield that the mortgage rate tracks most closely. 30-year mortgage is about 3 percentage points higher than this, and we're still hovering close to 4.5% on the 10-year, putting us right around 7.5% on the 30-year mortgage. The US is borrowing something like $1 trillion every 100 days. It's hard to imagine that the cost of that money, i.e. interest rates, can go down in that environment. So let's take a look at all active listings on the MLS currently, which this week number 466 active listings, down slightly from the 476 of last week, but still dramatically higher than the 337 active listings of the same week a year ago. Lowest priced home in the villages currently 144.9, marked down from 174.9. Most expensive home in the village is currently $2,395,000, which is the same price it was originally listed at. For those who don't know, the villages can be broken down into four broad geographic regions. This is the first. This is the area that I'm calling the North, which is everything north of Highway 466 and south of Highway 42. The next area I'm calling the Mid-North, which is everything south of 466 and north of 466A. The third area I'm referring to as the Mid-South, which is everything south of 466A and north of Highway 44. And finally, the South, which is everything south of Highway 44. It can also be interesting to do this comparison. This is showing us all active listings currently. The size of the circle is the size of the home, and the color of the circle is its price. You can compare it to the same data, which is this graph here, where the size of the circle is the size of the home, but the color of the circle is its price per square foot. So a filter of this type might give you a better opportunity to find a deal. So now that I've described the differences between the regions of the villages, let's take a look at all listings. Here are all of the active listings in the MLS currently. You can see the price distribution on the left and the size distribution on the right. Number of listings is the y-axis. You can see the smallest, median-sized home and largest home, and the least, median-priced, and most expensive homes in the villages as a whole. And we're going to analyze the four areas of the villages as I described them earlier. This is the area I've described as the north. You can see the size distribution and price distribution. If anybody wants copies of these slides, please reach out to me at either my email or my website. I'll be happy to get them to you. This is the same information for the mid-north area. Get an idea as to the size and price distributions there and compare them to the other areas. This is the Mid-South. Once again, this is between 466A and Highway 44. And finally, this is the South. Smallest, median, and largest home, least, most expensive, and median priced. This is a long-term chart. We're tracking the median listing price for all active listings on the MLS going back about 2.5 years now. This week, $259.52 a foot, down slightly from the $259.84 of last week, and very slightly worse than the $260.38 of the same week a year ago. But looking at this graph, it certainly seems plain that listing prices are not increasing. So now we'll look at new listings and homes going pending. This is on a week-by-week basis. We think this is the quickest way to get an idea as to where a market is going. New listings are new supply, and pending home sales are supply being taken off the market. Last week, 39 new listings, 48 homes going pending, positive 9. Previous week, there were 31 new listings and 36 going pending, a positive 5. A year ago, there were 27 new listings and 42 homes went pending, which is a positive 15. And this chart is just a simple subtraction from the previous chart. It shows us the difference between new listings and homes going pending. Last week, 9 more went pending than were listed. The previous week, 5 more. A year ago, 15 more. The zero line represents as many homes being listed as going pending. Numbers above the zero line mean that there are more homes going pending than being listed, which is positive. Numbers below the zero line mean more homes being listed than going pending, which is a negative. Here we look at the median price at which the homes that went pending last week went pending. 250, 251 a foot, up very slightly from 250, 236 of the previous week, but up noticeably from the 246.07 that was the price a year ago. More encouraging news for sellers. This is the price change for the homes that went pending last week, a median reduction of 4.33% from the original list price. Big improvement from the 5.81% that sellers were offering the previous week for homes that went pending, but not improved from the 4.23% that sellers were offering on homes that went pending a year ago. And I thought I'd break things up by showing you these two maps. What you're looking at on this map is all active listings on the MLS that have reduced the asking price by 5% or more from the original asking price. And what you're looking at here are those listings that have reduced their asking price by 10% or more from the original list price. Obviously, using maps like this can help you focus in on opportunities. So now we'll take a look at sales. These are properties that closed last week. They numbered 32, down from 42 the previous week, about the same as the 30 of a year ago. Homes that closed last week ranged in price from 192,658, which was originally 199, to a house that closed for 917,000 that was originally listed for $995,000. I thought it might be interesting to analyze this sales data by year. I came up with this chart. So with this chart, we can compare activity year over year. 2022 is in blue, 23 is in green, and 2024 is in red. You can see activity by week throughout the year. It certainly appears that end of first quarter through the second quarter is when the village sees most of its activity. And a terrible data point for sellers, a big drop in the median price per square foot on the homes that closed last week, 231 a foot down from 243 the previous week, and down from the 246 that homes were closing at the same week a year ago. It might be worth pointing out that this $231 a square foot number is the third worst number that we've seen in the last 2+ years. So let's take a look at the entirety of the village's real estate market again, and we're looking at all active listings here. What percentage have reduced their asking price from the original list price? A big jump last week. 56% of listings have reduced their asking price compared to only 52% the previous week, and compared to under 55% for the same week a year ago. But this graph is showing little stress. We seem to be seeing steady improvement. This is the median percentage decrease for all listings currently, 4.35% reduction, improving from the 4.5 of last week and slightly improved from the 4.38% of a year ago. If you're trying to get a good deal on the villages, please consider using our data-driven approach to find it for you. And if you're a seller, please consider using us to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time. If you're interested in talking to me, please reach out at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or through our website, DavidisinFlorida.com. I'll be happy to research for you or answer any questions about life in the villages itself. I hope to hear from you. Take care.